Hello and welcome to the Pembroke Pines Book Club. Today we're reviewing a book called Room by Emma Donoghue. And with me are Gloria McCluskey and Donna Cooperman. We have all read Room. So Gloria, what'd you think?
I thought the premise was very interesting, and I kept wondering if it perhaps was based on a true event. But
It is.
It is. And to be restricted to this small area, I mean, it just is just amazing.
We need to just give it a little preface.
You want a preface?
Well,
Okay.
okay.
Well, all right.
The book
Go
was
ahead.
written in the voice of a 5-year-old boy who was born and lived for the first 5 years in a room. His mother had been kidnapped and raped, and he was born in this room and lived there for 5 years. Okay, so now you all know where it begins.
The beginning.
I thought it was a beautifully written book. So interesting to read a book in the voice of a 5-year-old child and still, kind of get into the head of the 5-year-old child and see the world through his eyes. And of course, his world is
very narrow.
Is a shed that's
Right.
11 by 11.
Right.
And the inhabitants of his world are his mother, Ma, and he doesn't even realize that she has a name.
That's right.
Because she's Ma. And himself,
Yeah, that's it.
and old Nick.
Well, but the objects that he has incorporated in his world, as obviously he realizes they're inanimate objects, although he would not know that word because
Yes.
he has no experience outside of this room.
Yes.
Name of the book. But the way he has factored in the objects to become people in his world, relative to his world, and you wondered if he actually thought that up or if his mother actually kind of directed him, because she was schooling him in a very unique way from her experiences.
Yes.
And she was yet a young woman.
Yes.
So while she was beginning college, she didn't
Yeah, she was
have
18
a
years
lot
old
of
when she was kidnapped.
formal knowledge. So I found that aspect of it particularly creative, and perhaps because children do use their imaginations, but given this situation, he was, I think, because of the circumstances, developed perhaps a more vivid imagination to people his world, as I said, with these objects. So yes, you're right, it was interesting to see from the child's perspective, but when you think about the author that did this, you wonder, was she drawing from children of her own or children that she'd been around?
I have no idea.
Yeah, because
Hard
it was
to know.
very much very much as you would see a child, with some reservations.
Yes.
Because of his circumstances.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was interesting to me that that the book was not about her imprisonment
No.
and
Not at
her. It wasn't about the abuse.
Because it was written from his mouth.
Right.
But he
So-
began to recognize something.
He did, even though she protected him from the abuse, because when her abductor came at night, she would put the child into the wardrobe, and that's where he stayed until old Nick left. And that was interesting too. They called him Old Nick
Yeah.
because it was Saint Nicholas. You know, it was like he was like Santa Claus. He had a beard.
And he brought them candy
And he brought them
Yeah,
candy
the
as
list
their
that she-
Sunday
yes.
treat.
if they were good.
If they were
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And so, and he loved his world,
The boy.
right? And so you have the dichotomy of the mother who loved the child and created a world for him that he loved, and the mother who wanted only to get out of that world.
Right.
And then, when she finally figured out a way to get out of this environment, that's really where the story begins. Because,
For me too.
you know, here's a child who has been raised with one other human being relating to him, and now he's in the world. And there are people and there are trees that he could only dream of before, or
Because there were no
see in
windows,
books.
there were nothing.
Well, everything for him was one-dimensional
Yes.
because he was unable to see a three-dimensional world other than what was in the room.
Yes.
But you did mention toward the end when she figured out how to, and there were so many pitfalls, which did take effect.
Yes.
I kind of felt, to me, that so much emphasis was put on the first 90% of the book. And then when they managed to do what they did, I kind of felt it was anticlimactic.
Oh, not for
And
me.
the time frame,
Yeah.
but the time frame of being exposed, now that they were able to be, he in particular, to be exposed to the world that he had not known, it seemed to not be as much or as detailed. Personally, I thought there should have been more time for him to adjust.
Oh,
And to me, it seemed as though that was kind of speeded up a little bit more than perhaps, because he was having a
Well,
bit of difficulty.
once you're out, you're out.
Well, I realize
I mean,
that,
you know,
but
and
the
then
help,
there are a whole other set of
Right.
issues
That he
was-
had to adjust to.
right,
Right.
but the help they were getting.
Yes.
To me, I thought it was a little more compressed than it
Well,
might have been,
but
given how
we,
long.
we
but-
all enjoyed this
But
book.
we
Yes.
liked the book. We
Yes.
liked the book. It
We
was
we
very
hope
interesting.
that little Jackie has a wonderful life as an adult.
Absolutely.
She had a tough life as a child.
Yes.
In a
And
way.
we're all recommending this book highly.
Definitely.
Yes, we
Definitely.
recommend
It's a
it.
very good read.
it's
It's
worth
very
the
well
read.
done. It's called Room, and it's written by Emma Donoghue. And if you look, you can see that the word room is kind of written the way a child would. So for OCTV, I'm Elaine Kugelman, and thank you for joining us in this book review of Room by Emma Donoghue.